What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by and say hello. All right, well, we had a week off from town halls, and now we're back. And so I am back with the 5 biggest takeaways from the most recent town hall. It was another big one. And 2 weeks ago, I'd say we had a pretty big one. I think I had way more than 5 last time. I tried to keep it to 5 this time, although you'll see that I have a 1A in my little notes here. Yeah, and these are being moved to Wednesdays from now on, so hopefully that'll be better for people's schedules. For me, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm going to try and get this content to you guys out as quickly as possible. Once again, a reminder, this is not a summary. This is just my 5 biggest things, or roughly 5 biggest things that I thought were interesting, little tidbits sometimes, and I wanted to expand on them here and speculate maybe. So there are plenty of other amazing content creators, as well as the Peak D official Splinterlands blog, where you can go and see the hall summary, or town hall summary, I should say, which is what I'm using as a reference today. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The first one, gotta be the Waka Flocka Flame and Waka Spirit Blade partnership. So if you didn't see, I posted a quick video last night talking about the huge announcement that they had. And I would say that this is huge in a cultural sense. I know there's a lot of chatter happening in either tokenomics or the the discords. So the tokenomics channels or the Maverick channel, whatever it is. So there are different conversations being had in there about whether or not this will be effective in actually bringing new players, who this is really geared towards, and I'm not going to necessarily get into that. Maybe I can do that in another video. For me, I think that this is actually huge because it's a big cultural moment. Like, Splinterlands is not a very big game, and to have an A-list rapper like Waka Flocka, who is, who's obviously A-list, be a part of this and have a card designed. NFTs are big. From what I know of Waka Flocka, it's hard to keep saying that. Can I just go with Waka? Hopefully that's okay. What I know of Waka so far, obviously outside of the huge social media reach and platform that he has, is that he's actually somewhat big into crypto. So this seems like a good fit, and there could be some potential synergy there with the following that he has if they are interested in what he's interested in. So again, what's cool about this is that there's going to be a legendary summoner card, and I'm looking at it here. There's going to be 1,000 total, 960 regular foil, and 40 gold foil, and these will all come fully maxed out. And so it's pretty crazy. 3 mana, all of your monsters get poison. It's kind of a crazy meta change. Now keep in mind, everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so OP. It could not be, who knows, but there's only going to be 1,000 people with it, 1,000 people playing, which I don't know. You probably won't run into it as often as you think. The thing is, we don't know how much the price is going to be, and we don't know the release dates. There's really not much other information outside of the fact that they confirmed that this was the A-list rapper they were working with, and that they, we have a card coming in and we know the stats already. Outside of that, 500 are going to be sold in the in-game shop, and 500 are going to be sold on Atomic Hub. I personally don't have much experience with Atomic Hub or Wax, so I can't really speak to that, although I may take a look and see if it's something worth checking out for this purpose. Now, the reason for that, I believe, is because this card is not just a card in the game. It's going to be an actual NFT that has utility outside of Splinterlands, which would be a first. And I think it's actually really exciting because, from what I understand, and they don't have the notes here, but from my notes yesterday, there's going to be some potential cross-platform integration with Snapchat. So you will be able, if you have the card or the NFT, you'll be able to use certain filters, such as like a Waka filter, for your Snapchat. So I haven't been on Snapchat in a bit. I still have one. So this has actually spurred me to go check it out, because I know a lot of these social media platforms are getting big into NFTs. And this actually represents a huge moment here, because when you think about NFTs, yes, cards as NFTs it makes sense. And obviously that's why I'm a big fan of it. But when I compare, for example, Waka Spirit Blade, and actually Waka Spirit Blade isn't the best example. So when I compare like a Jotun or a Llama or a Kron to a Bored Ape, right? Kron has a specific utility in the game of Splinterlands only, whereas Bored Apes can be used for who knows what, and you can integrate it with a bunch of different things. This makes things very interesting because now if these promo cards can not only just be used in game, but you will be able to have utility and use them as, I don't want to say more traditional NFTs, but I will say more traditional NFTs. That utility just adds so much more flexibility. So again, I'll probably think about this a little bit more and then dive into what the implications are and what we can expect in types of a return and in how this could impact the player base and new onboarding players, or even just people who might have exposure to this. But I'll say that for another time. Just wanted to quickly mention this and how I think that it's a big cultural moment, because keep in mind, the team is saying this is the first of hopefully many, but this is something where it only takes one, right? It only takes one to do something cool that everybody follows in. So I'm not saying that I want the card to be flooded in with a card from every celebrity. I don't know that would be good for the Splinterlands ecosystem, but Waka Flocka Flame is popular enough, and I'm sure has a network wide enough that if there's somebody else within his network who is also an A-list influencer, celebrity, actor, whatever it is, that is also interested in card games and is a natural fit, now all of a sudden your reach is expanded exponentially. So I'm excited about it. I think there's a lot of really cool things that came out of this, even with the very few details. A lot of people are going to be disappointed because you're not going to have cards for everybody, but that is really what NFTs are about. It's digital scarcity, right? And actually crypto overall, it's digital scarcity. So that is that. Now I have a 1A here, which is the Imagine Dragons partnership, and that actually had its moment in the sun too. So we got to see some pictures and no videos yet, although I think they are working to get us a good video. But it looks like there's a 30-second Splinterlands promo video that's playing at each Imagine Dragons tour. I guess this is being played as one of 4 or 5 different sponsors. So, the association with Imagine Dragons is cool. Obviously, the game has dragons, and it's a stretch to say that that's enough to get people on board. But again, it's more so exposure and awareness. Think about the fact that McDonald's, that Ford, that all these car companies, they still advertise. They still spend millions of dollars advertising every single day because they just want brand awareness. They want exposure. They want people to keep thinking about this. So Splinterlands is at a point where maybe we're going to be just splashing out to a wide audience. But at this point, with a game that only has 300,000 daily active players, splashing out to a wide audience, both with Waka and with Imagine Dragons, you never know who might just come check it out and stay, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people. I keep saying this. There's going to be a lot of people who come and check out this game and are like, it's not for me. But if we can even just get a small, tiny percentage of the people who think about it or check it out to stick around, to understand the utility, and to become a valuable part of the economy, the community, and the ecosystem, that's value added. We're going to grow this one player at a time. So that to me still represents a lot of value. So it's going to be hard to quantify, but we'll see how the rest of the year plays out, and if a lot of these partnerships are able to bring in more and more people. All right, let's move on to number 2, quick match tourneys. So this is an interesting one. Commander Chaos, who was on the town hall last night, and it was good to actually hear from them, has created a bot that constantly creates tournaments. Now, I had been told about this a while ago. I had been asked to actually make a video about it, and I just unfortunately never got around to it. So I'm glad this came back onto my radar with Commander Chaos and these, I believe they're called quick match tourneys. So let's go ahead and check out the events here, and we'll see if there's any available, because these things get scooped up right away. So these are going to be anytime sit and go, and it's going to be 8 people. And as soon as you have 8 people, I believe it starts. So once you're able to do that, it's going to be either for DEC or SPS. It looks like it's mostly or only Chaos Legion right now, and you're going to have different. I've seen bronze, silver, and gold. I'm sure there's like a Diamond League as well, but yeah. So this is going to be something that will constantly be there and constantly be filling up. Now, how it works is 85% of the fees, I should say. So let's look at the DEC one here. So you're going to have 8 players with 100 DEC fee. Now, that means 800 is going to be collected if you place in the top half. So you really just need to win more than half of your games, which can be difficult. So, right, especially based on whatever level you might be at. If you can win more than half your games you place in the top 4, you are guaranteed DEC and to at least make a little bit more than your money back, right? So the 100 DEC means that you would, 120 DEC over that 100 means you come away with 20 plus DEC. But 85% of the total entry fee is given out, while 15% is saved and put into a pool. Now, this is something new that I learned yesterday. And what is going to happen with that pool is that there's going to be something cool with Chaos Legion where you'll be able to register your account as either a Splinterlands Defender or a Chaos Legion Invader. And based on the number of matches that you win and the tournaments that you win and how many points you score, I don't know the full details yet, but I'm sure that's going to come out soon. That he wasn't, Commander Chaos was not ready to share the website yesterday. But as soon as that happens, now all of a sudden you'll be scoring points for your team. And at the end of every season, which I believe he said is going to be, monthly seasons, if your team wins, meaning you scored more points than the others, then you will win a proportion of the DEC or the SPS as part of that reward. So that 15% being taken or set aside is not paying anyone technically. It's really just everything is coming back to the players, which I think is really cool. And this is possible because Commander Chaos was whitelisted, so now they don't have to pay the 2,000 DEC to create tournaments every single time, which is great. Honestly, if the fee was a little bit lower, I've been wanting to run my own tournaments or potentially a league as well, just because I love setting up that kind of stuff, and I think competition is really, really cool. So the fact that Commander Chaos did something like this with a bot and is now focusing in on Chaos Legion, I love it. I want to promote it. I want to support it. So definitely check it out. Again, there's DEC and SPS options. But for the most part, it's not difficult to get in. So you don't need that much SPS staked or that much power, especially if you're playing in bronze, or there might even be novice tournaments available. So something to keep in mind. All right, so let's go back to this. Number 3. All right, so now we're getting into more of the speculative things that weren't necessarily in the summary. But number 3, so Matt made a comment yesterday talking about how, there are plans for the team to take a closer look at DEC and, talk about the utility and figure out a better way forward. Now, if you've seen some of the previous videos that I've put out, I've talked extensively about this, how I think land could be valuable, how we can save DEC without breaking it, and where I think DEC should potentially go in the long term as something that increases in value. Therefore, demand to buy it needs to increase at an equilibrium pace with the growth of the player base. And that would, in a sense, create more rewards, higher value rewards, and higher value DEC. But it needs to be sustainable, and it needs to have some kind of equilibrium that is not the peg, because to me, the peg is a little too low. Especially if you want to have a game that has millions or multi-million players in it. So what was interesting here is, I said I've been accumulating DEC because of this. I'm curious to see what happens. But this shook my confidence just a little bit, because it doesn't seem like the team is going to have any concrete plans as soon as the airdrop is over. So in my mind, I kept thinking that, okay, well, they're working on something now, and maybe they'll announce it before the end of the airdrop or right after the airdrop. But it seems as though the team wants to see what happens to DEC from a free market perspective after the airdrop ends, which means if, my thesis is correct, we're probably going to go either back to the peg or maybe even below the peg because of how much DEC has been printed over the last 8 months since the beginning of the airdrop, right? It was never supposed to be that high, meaning we were never supposed to print that much DEC. And when DEC finally loses its only utility, as said by the team, or at least its primary utility, which is the airdrop, all that stuff is going to come flooding back to the market. Now, people may, hopefully there's going to be a lot of guild action at that time. So, if you wanted to level up your guild or set up tournaments or things like that, different ways to burn DEC, that would be an ideal time to do it. So it's not like the market is just going to die. It's just, if DEC goes below its peg, I will probably be, trying to focus on leveling up my guild at that point. And I'm sure many others will feel the same way. But, if they're gonna wait to see how it shakes out, then my theory or my prediction of them having a plan in place as soon as August hits, or as soon as whatever July date that the airdrop ends hits, that doesn't seem like it's going to come to pass. So it seems we're going to see the free market really just do its thing, and in my opinion, that to me smells like we're going to see DEC crash hard. I've been saying that since the beginning, and I'm not really shying away from that now. Again, it's not because I want DEC to crash. I'm trying to find ways to save it so that we don't have to go through this difficult period. But I can understand the team allowing the free market to do what the free market does, because they did that once the airdrop was. It's not really an exploit, but they said that, one DEC equals one airdrop point. So because that was the case, DEC's value rose dramatically. So now they're going to stay hands off again until things settle out. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully by that time they'll have SPS ranked battle rewards, but keep in mind, as I've been saying, SPS ranked battle rewards is only going to last for 5 years. And yes, 5 years is a long time in the crypto world. I mean, it's a long time in general, but what you want to be able to create is something sustainable. So to me, DEC still holds that place as something that needs to be, unless they want to get rid of it completely, but I don't see the point. This is already a very popular token. It's on several exchanges. Like, why would you want to do that? I would just focus on either, well, you'd probably want to get the SPS governance to vote on something so that it's not just the team making a unilateral decision, but at least put things out there that would allow, changes that the majority of the community vote on and are in favor of, that help DEC retain and hopefully gain value in the future in a way that makes sense and not something that's just part of the airdrop or short term. All right. So none of these others were mentioned in the summary as well. So these are more so just offhand things. Modern format, the team used the word hopefully that they can get on Q1. Keep in mind, we're halfway through Q1 right now, or almost halfway through Q1. So there's like no talk of modern format in terms of, to me, I have zero confidence in modern format being released by the end of March. I think that there's too much happening. I think that the team just has a lot on their plate. And as I've been saying, with really any kind of time frame that they are giving, I think people need to be prepared for major delays. Now, I am not saying this. I want to be very clear. I'm not saying this as any kind of criticism to the team, right? Like, I know that the team is trying their best. Those people are working their butts off, and there's a lot of people being onboarded, a lot of new team members being onboarded and trying to really make a difference as quickly as possible. So it takes time to build something amazing, and we do have something amazing here that's continuing to be built out and built out and built out. So I'm not trying to say this to criticize the team or to call them out. Obviously, when they say hopefully Q1, I know that they mean it. I'm just trying to temper folks' expectations here, because I genuinely don't feel like we're going to hit this point or hit it in Q1. I'm actually somewhat doubtful now about seeing Rift Watchers in Q2. And now I mean, to me, Land is not coming out until Q3. Like, there's just no way. And again, if I'm wrong, I will happily eat my words, because I would be happy to see this stuff sooner rather than later. What I'm trying to do, again, is just temper or level set everybody's expectations that this stuff takes time to build. And, the team, to their credit, is trying to be as transparent as possible with us and give us their most optimistic timelines, which, maybe they shouldn't be. Maybe they should just like be a little more conservative with it. If it's one of those like overpromise or underpromise, overdeliver type of things. But I get it. And again, I'm not trying to call anybody on the team here. Obviously, they've been wanting to get this out in Q1, but this is a major game change. And something that Matt mentioned also yesterday is they only want to do one major change at a time. So the way that I see it is, if they can't get modern format out by the end of Q1, I can see modern format coming out sometime in April, maybe, and then that would probably push Rift Watchers to Q3. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Land get pushed as well into Q4. I'm not going to say Land that far out yet, because I know everybody's excited. I know the team is excited, but again, major changes, the team wants to be able to monitor how this goes and, make updates and tweaks as they go along without having a billion different things to check in on. All right, last one. This is more for the upcoming rewards update. So we still don't have many details, but one of the things that was mentioned, I believe by Matt, was that they wanted to incentivize, or continue to incentivize higher play. They want people to level up as quickly as possible. They don't want everybody spreading their assets across a bronze accounts or across silver accounts. They want people to be playing at the highest levels. Now, we saw that we saw the first step of this with the Chaos Legion packs being available in these loot chests. There is a higher percentage to win in the higher leagues, right? The higher league you are, the higher the percentage of getting a Chaos pack is. But what Matt's essential point was, right now, every reward chest is essentially the same, right? Outside of the Chaos Legion packs and outside of the bronze and silver divide there, every loot chest, a reward chest, is exactly the same. Whereas in the future, I wonder if there would be an incentive to level up by making it so that there's gold reward chests, silver reward chests, and bronze reward chests. And right now, those are signified by the amount that you get, but not necessarily the rarities or the type of value that you could potentially get out of it, right? People always think, oh, because you're in gold or you're silver or you're in champion, you're going to get better stuff. But that's actually not necessarily the case. I've been in gold, and the entire time I've been in gold, I've been getting garbage, like absolute garbage. No joke. So I was getting better rewards in silver outside of the one chaos pack that I got, which again, people in silver were getting chaos packs before I got mine in gold. So everything is the same. And this I think is going to rub the community, or see some members of the community, the wrong way again, because it's not necessarily nerfing rewards of lower tiers, but it is increasing the rewards in higher tiers, which, people are going to look at that as like a reverse nerf and get offended by it. And again, I'm not saying that anybody's necessarily wrong there, but I understand where the team is trying to come from. And I think that it's important that different levels offer different value, right? Like if that is their goal, then this is one way to do it. This is one way to get everybody on the same page. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm the one saying this, not the team right now, but their whole thing is this is not free to play. There is a free to play option, but the entire thing is play to earn, right? So the more that you invest into the game, the higher up you get, the more you get rewarded. So again, it's not meant to be a dig at anyone, but it's just how the economics of this was designed. So yes, is that going to turn off some people? Probably, and I wouldn't be surprised. But for most of the people who see the value in this game, even if you are a smaller player or you don't have as many assets, hopefully you are at a point where it's just like, well, I'm here and I'm still gaining value from this, right? I'm still gaining value and I'm building equity every single day. I play, I do my rewards, or I do my quests, I get some rewards that adds to my collection power, and slowly and steadily over time, the more you put into this game, even if it's just your time and not money, even if it's just time, you will be further ahead in the future than you will be now, both as a player and hopefully, again, I can't guarantee it, but hopefully on the financial level in terms of the equity that you have in the game. I mean, simply staking SPS or getting something from the airdrop right now through DEC is gonna put you in a better position a month from now than you are today. Again, unless there's a major crypto crash. But then you know what? We're not the only ones crying. Everybody across the crypto and probably regular markets are crying too. So that's all I have for you guys in this video today. Lots of exciting things. I honestly cannot wait. There'll be more. I'll be watching this Waka Flocka thing. I think they're coming out with an announcement on Tuesday of next week. So keep an eye out for that. Obviously, I'll be covering that in a video format once I can. But there's gonna be a lot of really, really cool things. And if we're only in early February right now, guys, only in early February. So if this is the type of partnerships that they have, I cannot wait to see what other things Splinterlands is up to over the rest of 2022. All right, have an amazing rest of your day. I will see you all in the next video, and I will catch you around the game. Take care.